Hi, this is a thing I'm gonna do. I just have a lot of opinions on warrior cats, and sometimes I would like to talk about it. I'm not a professional in any means. I don't know anything about writing or books or themes or anything like that, but I'm just here to talk, and if you want to listen to that, that's cool. If you don't, that's also cool. I'm just doing this because I feel like it, um, It's a weird choice for our first one, but I just kind of want to talk about the warrior cats I don't like. And there's characters like, oh, well, Ashfur and Broken Star, those are like horrible people. I don't like those types of people. I think that killing babies is wrong, but I think that's kind of cool as a character. I think that Ashfur as a character is really interesting, and I like reading about him. I don't condone him, obviously, but I do like him as a character, so I will be talking about characters that don't appeal to me, or I think that the way that they were written was pretty awful, or their potential was fucked over. I was not gonna cuss in this. Okay. Their potential was messed up by the authors. So I'm just gonna start off with everyone in StarClan, just every single cat in StarClan. I feel like I loved Blue Star, I loved Yellowfang a lot in the first series, and then in StarClan, I don't know what happened. I don't know why they felt the need to make Yellowfang into this unsufferable. I'm It's so hard for me not to curse. They just I don't know what happened there. She was really likable, and they were just kind of like, yeah, I don't think so. No, and they had her lie to Squirrelflight about being barren. I don't think that's not my yellow thing, you know. She had a really strong personality in the first arc, and then they just kind of have this issue now where every somewhat major ThunderClan cat that we knew is now kind of used as a mouthpiece for every prologue chapter, where it's just like, oh, oh man, the evil is coming. Oh no, what can we do about this? And they just kind of sit and talk about it, just really vaguely. And then they also have the audacity to be like, oh, so the blue cat is just like, we all know who the blue cat is. It's Blue Star. We know these cats, and if you don't know these cats, then it's like, I I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I read the books out of order, but I mean, still, I don't need. I can assume that most people know these cats here, but in any case, I think that they just got kind of tainted, and especially, and well, first off, I need to make a disclaimer here that I haven't read a lot of the books in a while, so I'm going off my memory, which is not good, so forgive me if this is wrong. But Squirrelflight's Hope, so that came out pretty recently. I read that like a year ago when it came out. I hated the trial. It was so bad. It was like every single cat who's done something against the code, like Blue Star had kits with a Tom from another clan and gave them up, and then Yellowfang, who had kits as a medicine cat and then gave him up. And then they had the odd, and they told Lethal yeah, you're gonna have these kits, and you need to keep them in ThunderClan. You have to have Squirrelflight take them. And then they have the audacity to be like, so why do you think that you guys deserve to be in StarClan? Because you broke the code and you lied to your whole clan. It's just like, I wonder why. It's not even like, oh, Squirrelflight just chose to do that. They pressured her. Like I said, Yellowfang said, yeah, you're barren. You can't have any other kids, so this is your only chance to be a mom. Which already is a horrible thing to say, but the fact that it was a lie is just really awful. It was hypocritical. I think Mothflight was there. Just all of these different cats who have made these same mistakes, just outwardly being so rude. and being like, well, I don't think that you deserve to be here. And like what they let Ashfur in, they let Mudclaw in. I think so. It's like I don't understand what that scene was about. It just kind of made me hate StarClan a lot more than I already did, which is saying something because they already butchered their characters in like Power of Three onwards. There's not like my bar was so low to begin with. So I I hate that. I really wish I kind of don't like StarClan in general as they are written. They have they show up too much. I don't really like it. I'm not a fan. I kind of like them more of like, oh, StarClan exists probably. This is just what we believe. I like that stuff. Um and on the topic, I guess I should just bring up Spotted Leaf. I don't like her either. I think that her the romance thing is stupid, but like I think everyone collectively agrees on that, so I don't feel the need to talk about it. Next up are those guys, Bramblestar, for example. I I hate him so much. He was I think the idea of having this guy that is the son of a murderer who was then exiled and then continued to be horrible to ThunderClan, and he looks just like him, and now he's growing up living with that fact, is such a good plot point, and they could have done it so well. And I really like how they had him just directly go to his dad and be like, "I'm never joining you. I hate you, and I think you're an awful person." And they did so well with that, and then they just kind of turn around and be like, "Oh, actually, no, he's training with him now." And he's like having this whole thing of like, oh man, do I kill my leader? Do I kill like the guy that was kind of like a dad to me? Because my evil dad that I supposedly hated and denounced, like, is telling me to. And what sticks with me a lot is I read somewhere that it was supposed to end at dawn. And so that gives me a bit more lenience on like thinking about it. Because again, I haven't read any prophecy in a while, but it seems to me that they kind of shoved in that Bramblehawk Tiger thing because they didn't really know what else to do to fill in those books, which is like, I kind of understand that. I kind of could see that in the writing. I think they butchered him though. They butchered my good little Bramblepaw, and so he was already kind of insufferable because of that. I was like, oh, I really need to be deputy. I really want it. Why? I mean, at least like Hollyleaf and Tiger Claw are like, oh, I want power. And Blue Star's like, I want to protect my clan and like all this stuff. The Brambleclaw's just like, oh, I want to be deputy, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to be evil like my father. Probably. We don't know that. Ooh, am I gonna be evil or am I not? Oh my god. It's like, of course he's not gonna be evil. He's a protagonist. But it's just like, I'm so mad. This Bramblepaw, like, specifically saying, like, F you, I'm not gonna join you, and then turning around and doing that. I hate that. That was really bad writing. But now, on Bramblestar, and this sucks a lot too, because when I was a little freak, when I was 16, I did still like Brambleclaw as a character, and I related to him having been lied to and like having a bad life. Blah, blah, blah. I was a little filthy kitty, but now he's just. We all know this. He treats Squirrelflight so badly, and the worst part is I don't think it's intentional. I think a lot of the writing that the Aarons do with like abuse subplots is like, it's not to tell like a story about like, hey, this is an abusive relationship. It's bad, and here's what's gonna happen with it. I think it's just bad writing. They aren't intentionally trying to make him abusive, but they just flat out are. He is an abusive, awful person to Squirrelflight, and the way he treats her is, it's disgusting. It is like reminiscent of relationships that I have been in that were also abusive, and it's like the narrative tries to treat him as if he's not an abuser. It tries to be like, oh, yeah, I can't believe Squirrelflight just like the fact is that she wanted to have more kids because she was worried that like Bramblestar doesn't seem to care about me, and I want him to care about me. And that's what's wrong with me. And then like Bramblestar being like, "Oh, I have kids already, so you're being selfish. I can't like why are you betraying my clan? How are you doing this? Why are you doing what you think is right and you're disobeying me? But I'm your mate." I just that's not good. It's it's really awful behavior. And then I remember in Lost Stars, they kind of had this thing. It was like, oh, yeah, Ghost Ramble Star is real because he's like, hey, remember when Leafpool died and we looked at the stars? It was all romantic. It's like, so are you? If it's intentional writing, I would say that's a honeymoon phase. I would say that's him sucking up to her and then continuing the cycle of abuse. But no, I just know that the Aarons are like well aware. I'm sorry, they aren't aware at all that he's a shitty person. They're just like, oh yeah, so this is how Bramble Squirrel is, because they seem to have this idea, which links into my next thing. They seem to have this idea that Bramble Claw is this person that he's not, and this goes in with Graystripe. And after reading Graystripe's Val, I think my opinion on him got kind of like, I dislike him a bit less. I really liked reading it. It was a fun book. But are we just gonna ignore the fact that like he was the worst warrior ever in the in the first arc? He just like he didn't. I hate how they're like, oh yeah, my apprentice Brackenfur, who I trained, and we had a close relationship. Like you did not train him. You did not. You just pushed him off the fire hearth. Just like, here, train my apprentice for me while I go like have sex with my girlfriend, the one in a different clan, and then I'm gonna leave my clan and then come back. And then Firestar still has the audacity to be like, oh, you're my best friend, so you can be my deputy. Which I think I remember even White Storm was just like, hey, you should make Graystripe deputy next. Like, no, you should do any any other cat, any other cat in the world. Graystripe is like proven over and over that he cannot be a reliable deputy. And then in Graystripe's Vow, they try to rectify that. They try to be like, oh, but Graystripe's such a loyal warrior. He's so loyal, guys. And I appreciate that they at least have cats rightfully call him out on being like, you really shouldn't be the deputy. But I still kind of have an issue with how it's told from his point of view, and it seems like, well, yeah, but still look at like they do have him end up saving the day with the whole Blood Claim cat thing, and it's like, all right, but that just seems kind of like personally, it just kind of feels retconned in to be like, look at how like they have this idea that like he's this great, awesome, loyal person. I'm not saying that he's like a bad person like Bramblestar. I just think that he's horrible at being a warrior. I think he's a terrible deputy. I think that like he can, yeah, he can hunt, he can fight, kind of. There's still that issue of like when he still had his kids in RiverClan, it's just like, oh man, what side is he gonna fight on? Because it's like, I agree that forbidden relationships are stupid. I think that it's stupid that cats from other clans can't be mates, but that is a valid point of like, if you, what if you have to fight your kid's friends or your kids or like your kid's mentor? I don't know. You could, that is pretty tough. That's difficult. His entire role as a warrior has been jeopardized by that relationship, and never mind him being a deputy is just laughable. He didn't technically, how is he even qualified? Because he didn't technically train Bracken for, like, I don't have any recollection of him actually doing much with him because he just kept handing him off to Fireheart. I don't know. And then the last in this section, I'm not going to go too deep into it because the Aarons just seem to kind of forget about it. Finleap, what was up with that? He was so cute. It was really nice to see his friendship with Twigbranch. Ugh. It was so nice. And then he's just like, oh, so so we're gonna be mates and we're gonna have kids like right now. And then when she's like, I'm not ready for that, and he's just gonna have this like, just throw a fit about it. And they kind of address that, like with Twigbranch's point of view. They're kind of she's kind of like, hey, I'm really not ready for this, and this is unfair that you're treating me that way, which is good. But then they just kind of drop that. They're just like, oh, okay. Or like, man, I think I like repressed the last half of Vision of Shadows because I honestly don't recall what happened with that. But it was not satisfying. I'm just sad that they went in that direction with his character in the first place because I really liked him. But then if you're gonna do that, then at least like make it work. I don't know. I'm kind of speaking out of my ass with this one because again, I don't remember much of Vision of Shadows as a choice, but uh, I guess more of this section is these are cats that like I I do like their characters. It's like an Ashford thing. I do find them interesting, but it's like something about them just is like I hate them so much. Like what they do, I hate it. So next off, just the entirety of like Tiger Clan, specifically RiverClan in that era, because I never really thought about this, but after reading A Shadow in RiverClan, yeah, the whole like Shadow Clan was just like Shadow Clan gets more of an excuse because they weren't their clanmates, even though it's still like innocent cats. But RiverClan grew up with these cats. These are like kittens here, and then they're like, you know what? Yeah, Tiger Star says that you should be killed, so we're gonna hold you prisoner, and then we're gonna like make you guys fight to the death, and we're gonna condone this and not speak out on it at all. And it was really refreshing to see Feathertail actually hold some resentment about that, rightfully, because like all these people are like, "Oh, hey, Feathertail," and she's like, "Why are you talking to me when you wanted me dead?" And then they're just like, "Why is she so quiet? Why doesn't she talk to anyone?" It's like that's why. I'm just really glad that that was actually like addressed at all. But still thinking about it just makes me hate all of the River Queen cats at that time by default. Shadow Clan's this whole other thing, but just River Clan just being bystanders like that, I hate. Leopard Star, I hate her behavior for that. I like her and Black Star would love to see super editions or at least a novella about what was going on with that, because like it was kind of messed up. Black Star specifically for all the like murdering, and he followed Broken Star, he followed Tiger Star. He's like he did a lot of bad stuff, and he's allegedly in StarClan now, right? He got 9 lives from the StarClan, so it's like I would like to see like what's his redemption there, because that could be really interesting if they don't mess it up, which I'm sure they will. Leopard Star though, I don't like her. I don't like her as a person because of that, but I am also really interested. I guess it's just how she just let Tiger Star do that to her clan bothers me a lot. It was like, oh, she's in love. Like I don't know if she was or not, but just like I don't know why that peeves me off more. But then that being said, I really I would kill for a super edition to like see what's going on there, because I think that would be great, and I think that could like I mean, like thinking about it, I do kind of like her as a character, but I'm like, man, I'm really mad at her for that. But another person I really hate is Mistystar, and not because like, oh, she's so old, she should keel over. I don't care about her. Why is she still leader? It's not even that. What's up with her and Mothwing? Like she's like, "Oh, you don't believe in StarClan? You can't be our medicine cat anymore. I can't believe this. Such a horrible person for not believing in StarClan. Oh, you have religious trauma? Boo hoo. Yeah, I can't believe it. You're not fit to be my medicine cat, and screw you." And then like that gets resolved, and then immediately, Bramble, fake Bramblestar is like, "Oh yeah, so these cats in particular, they should go." So Misty Star like exiles her, And then has the audacity to be like, "Oh yeah, that was fake Bramblestar. So, Mothman, you wanna come back here? Sorry." Like, why? Here's the thing. I know we all know that's Ashfur, right? That's not actually Bramblestar. So Ashfur was listing a bunch of cats that were quote unquote code breakers. He included the three because they're half clan. I'm assuming that he included Mothwing because she is either half clan. But here's the thing, so is Mistystar. And then in that case, if Mistystar could come to that conclusion, why was she not on the list? And why would she just willingly exile a cat for being half clan despite herself being half clan? Or she's on the list for being kin with Tigerstar, which is also stupid because Ashfur knows that Bramblestar is related to Tigerstar, and you would think that, like, maybe, it would be a bit suspicious if I kick someone out for being kin with Tigerstar when I'm technically his son here. I'm, I don't understand what, again, it's like, I think it would be cool to, like, see what is her thought process behind that. But we saw that in Misty Star's Own Man. She's just an asshole. I just don't like her. I guess it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to be another leader, but one star. I kind of get why he went that way because of the pressure of leadership and not wanting to seem as much of a of a Firestar suck up that he is. But jeez, what it has. I mean, like the Darktail thing was like okay, a little bit retconned, but yeah, I guess a part of me is just sad because I'm like, oh, Whisker was really nice, and I like, and it's not a horrible offender, but not really a fan. I don't like it. I'm just, again, I don't have any good reasons here. I'm just kind of like, these are cats I don't like. But last one I want to say is Vine Blaze, just because, like, man, we got Shea Feather and we got Holly Leaf, and you're like, okay, and they got this other guy, right? He's part of the prophecy. It's like nothing, no personality. Not even like, oh, people are like, oh, but he's a himbo. It's like technically not really. He's just kind of there. He doesn't really have a character arc besides being like, oh, I'm too powerful. Oh no, am I gonna be on the dark side? No, he's not. He's the protagonist. There's that thing with Heathertail, and then that's ended in like book 2. I think it would have been really interesting if he had more tension with Ashfur, with him being his mentor after the fire scene, but they don't do anything with that. He's just there. He's kind of like the only notable instance I can think of with him is in Vision of Shadows, where they're like, okay, we need a plan to stop Darktail. And he's like, hey, I'm having kids. Which is like, it's a funny himbo moment, but like, I can't think of any other moment that really makes me like him. Which sucks because, like, I think it would be great to have him as, like, this himbo character. I think it would be great to have him have this, like, genuine moral dilemma of, like, training in the Dark Forest. And, oh god, what if I do hurt someone with my powers? I think that the idea of him becoming a medicine cat, or, like, just being really, just actually dealing more with that would have been so much more interesting than, like, oh, I'm buff. Oh, no, no. Oh my god, I keep having dreams about killing my crush. That's weird. I don't know. They dropped the ball with him so hard, and it's really disappointing. And I can't like him. Fan and interpretation is obviously different, but I no, I'm so disappointed. And it's like I guess that gives more love to Jay and Holly, but still, it's just man. Even like Tiger Heart Star has like a bit more personality and complexity to him. Blank is just a piece of cardboard. But that's really the end of my list, and then just cats I can really think of off the top of my head. that again I hate as characters, not as people. If I hated them as people, it's just like Tiger Star, Rainflower, Broken Star, Ashfur. I don't, I think that they're bad people, but I do appreciate having like actual antagonists and warrior cats. I think it's like I think the line with Crooked Star and Rainflower was pretty well. It's new. They don't really do that much in a good way, intentionally. Like with abuse subplots, it's like okay, they got Bramblestar kind of, but it wasn't really intentional. But yeah, I guess that's it for this. I I'm just doing this.